Welcome to episode 2 of Rating My Bad College Solos. Hopefully today, the solos are not as bad, because they're all a lot more recent. They're not all bad. I just like to say that. This first one was taken over a month ago, at one of our several big band concerts. We were featuring guest artist Ingrid Jensen, in this one. She's a trumpet player and she's cracked. And I got to actually trade fours with her and another member in my section. So these are all going to be very short solos. The first one was actually a whole chorus, so 12 bars. And then we all passed around 4. But it didn't catch all of that in the recording, so we're just going to go off of what we hear. Okay, so that one was nothing impressive. It was just messing around with the blues scale. I know the blues scale isn't that impressive, but it's the easiest thing to use when you're playing blues. I mean, I always feel like when I play B-flat blues, using the dominant scales just sounds a little too major to me. I experiment with ways to mix it up. In my opinion, it just sounds the best for me when I'm using the blues scale instead of the Mixolydian scale. Moving on to the next one, which is 4 bars. Okay, so it actually wasn't 4 bars. He told me to take a full chorus. So, oops, I forgot about that. This whole concert was kind of very much on the fly. She was messing around with us even while we were performing. But that's how it goes. So I just started with a Herbie Hancock lick. I recognize it from Chameleon. I hate my music stand. He plays that several times throughout the solo on Chameleon, and I stole it from him. And I just move up to the... And I kind of close out with that. It's easy. Yeah, it's an easy lick. I mean, but I thought it sounded cool. Something like that. Moving on to the next one. Okay, I've been thinking about this one. What? So the reason why that note that I start with sounds so bad is because it's E natural. And I believe that was on an F7 chord change, which has a flat 7 being a flat E natural, and you always want to play the right 7. When you're a half step away from the 7, it's not gonna sound good. So what I should have played was... But I played... I think, let me double check that one. Was it E flat? I'm having a hard time taking out this note. Was it E flat? It sounds like E flat to me now. Why does it sound so bad then? That's the guide tone. My ear is not perfect, so I don't know. Just dropped my Harmon. Just opened this one too. This is a new one. So that's epic. Oh, look what else I bought. I got a flugelhorn now, so I can play pretty stuff like this. Moving on to the next one. You can see I was not happy with the way I ended that first one. The way I just dropped my trumpet, I was like, that was so boring. I also am not happy with that one. I wish I did something more like... So many cool things you can do with the blues scale, and mine was so boring. Yeah, so that's all I really have to say about the Ingrid Jensen performance. I think my first bit with the Herbie Hancock lick, I think that was probably the best one out of those multiple small solos that I took there. Maybe because of the Herbie Hancock lick. You know, I just copied him, so it sounded good. I'm gonna look at a little bit of my solo on Summer Samba. A little different from the big band performances in that this is a solo through the entire form. So it's a little longer. I might not look at the whole thing. I also wasn't too happy with my performance on this tune in general. I don't know why, I just kept cracking notes. It was infuriating at the time, but it happens. I thought that was a pretty solid intro into the solo, just using my scales, you know. Yeah, it sounded fine. Following the changes with the bossa rhythm, you know, I like that part of the solo. You can see I'm losing creativity now. It's not very compelling. It's easy to bob your head to. Not a compelling solo though. Did you hear how me and the guitar lined up? I love when stuff like that happens. I kind of biffed the ending. I was trying to quote the lick at the end there. Is that a G major scale? Let me look at my book real quick. If it's on the very last measure, it's a bit of it would be a G major 2-5. Yeah, I probably. So I was going. The sound I was going for was a bit of a. But that is not what I played because I'm just not familiar with the lick in every single key. I'm gonna try to run it in G major, see what I come up with. Okay, yeah. So that's pretty easy to figure out. But on the spot, I did not quite hit all the notes. Overall, though, not a terrible solo. I mean, not super compelling. I didn't really use the scales that much, but I did stick to the changes. And yeah, it was a head bob rhythm, but it was kind of elevator music. It wasn't really anything impressive, but I think the rhythm was there. So not a bad solo, I don't think. Very last one I'm gonna look at is Impressions. This one was 5 days ago. Also a longer solo, especially on a Modal tune. I just kind of kept going until I decided I was done. This one, I can guarantee you, is not going to be as good as Summer Samba. There were some good moments in this one, but my scale work was a little iffy. Miles Davis lick from So What. I don't know if you really can call it a lick. It's 2 notes. Really, it's 1 note. It's just an octave jump. I don't think that's how Miles Davis plays it. I think he plays it as more of a... Obviously, Impressions is a contrafecture of So What, so I just threw that on the same chord. That chord change. Oh, I jumped right onto the root and it felt so abrupt. I had a decent scale thing going there, and then I jumped right down to the F or concert E flat. liked that part. I thought it was groovy. Again, nothing impressive, just using very few notes, but it's all about the rhythm. Freddie Hubbard lick, if you know, you know. I stole that one from Stanley Turrentine's impressions. Freddie Hubbard plays trumpet on that one, and he plays something similar to that at some point. I thought it sounded so epic, so I threw it into this one, and I think it worked. I definitely cracked the higher notes a little bit, but I do that sometimes. I'm actually not that great at super high notes. A is not a super high note, but depending on how my lips are feeling that day, it can be. I actually thought that was some of my most impressive scale work yet on this tune. What scale was that I was using? That was my attempt at a recreation. I actually definitely played it better live, which is cool. You know, I like when that happens. And I also really like how the drums kind of lined up with me. At this part, Kyle on guitar keeps he's looking at me, and I keep looking at him or in his general direction. And I can tell he's like, oh, is it my turn to solo? Is Will trying to pass it off to me? I wasn't. I just got lost in the sauce. So I forgot what chord we were on, and on these modal tunes, it can be really hard to hear, or not hard to hear, but just hard to tell. So I was just trying to listen for the chord change to figure out which chord I'm on, because I mean, it's imperative that you play the right scale on a chord, on a modal tune, because you're sticking with one chord for quite a while, and you want to be using the right scales. So I was just trying to listen. I don't think I fell off the chord. I think I was in the right spot, but I was just trying to pay attention, and he kept. It was funny. It was just funny. I'm running out of ideas, if you can't tell. Not the best part. Tried to do something with those high notes. I just shut up into that register, and it kind of fell apart. Oops. Another slow one lick. And then I pass it off to guitar, and he kills it. Shows me up because he's way better. I don't think that solo was as bad as I remember it being, but there were certain spots where it was like the scale work was iffy. I was hanging on all the wrong notes. But overall, that was not a bad solo. I don't think so. I don't think it was a bad solo. There were a couple of really impressive moments. I really liked how I borrowed licks, even really just short licks, like or Freddie Hubbard's. I think those are all the solos I'm going to look at for now. I think compared to the last two I looked at, from the Jody Grind and I Found a New Baby, I think it's clear that there's a lot of improvement. Those are both from like the first semester anyway. Maybe I Found a New Baby was from second semester. It looks like my live soloing has gotten a lot better, which is great. Hopefully it keeps doing that. That would be so epic.